Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to start with a discussion on Java. So let's get started with Java. So we are using Java version 17 for this tutorial. So let's see the notes. Let's start with a definition of a class. What do you mean by a class? Okay, read it. Class help us to create object in Java. In Java, we use class keyword to create a class. Okay. Keyword should be in lowercase. Okay, let's say class A. So this is a class A. Class A, it will be having flower brackets. Okay, we define the boundary of class using flower brackets. Define the boundary of a class using flower brackets. Let's say class naming convention. Class name should always start with uppercase. If the class has more than one word, then use camel casing. That is, first letter of every word should be in uppercase. Example, bank, class bank. Let's see here. Let's say this is a bank. Let's rename this file to bank. So this is a proper way. Okay. Now suppose you have bank account number, 3 words. So correct way will be bank account number. This will be the correct way. Next, snake casing is allowed but should not be used for Java. Like this is called snake casing. Underscore, when you put it, it is called as snake casing. It will execute without any error, but it is not a good practice in Java. Class name cannot start with a number. Let's say one bank account. Let's give 1. See, class name cannot delete this token 1. It is showing an error. Delete this token 1. Okay. Class name cannot start with a number. Class name can start with a character followed by a number. Okay. So after character you can add number. Bank account 100 is fine. It will work. As you can see, it is having no errors. It is correct. Next, note. Do not use special characters like doll. These are all special characters while creating class. $A is correct, but we should not use it. Okay. You can give dollar bank account. Okay. You can see here. This is a dollar sign. Bank account will work, but it is not a good practice. Okay, as you can see, there are no errors, but we will not use that. Okay, this was all about class. Now let's go to our next topic, which is creating objects in Java. Okay, for creating objects in Java, see here, there is a public class A, main method a1 equals to new a2 is equals to new a, system.out.print a1, system.out.println a2. Okay, let's create a class in that main method. Once we have our main method, we will write a1 is equals to new a. This will create object of class a1 is the object. Now in this I will write here a1. Again we will create another object a2 is equals to new a. Now system.out.println a2, it will print a2's address. Let's run this. As you can see the output. It is printing the A1's address and it is printing A2's address. So this was all about this particular method. Now what is new keyword? Using new keyword, we send request to the class to create objects. Once object is created, new keyword will get object address and store that in a reference variable. New keyword, as you can see, we have used new keyword. It will store object's address into a reference variable. A1 is a reference variable over here. Okay. Now the syntax is same. Class name, variable name. So class name here was A. Variable name we were giving A1 is equals to new class name, new of A. Like this the syntax will be. Okay. Like this it will be the syntax. Now let's move on to the next topic, that is non-static variables. It is also called as instance variable. It is also called as object variable. Let's read this definition from here. We should create non-static variable inside class outside method without using static keyword. Without creating object, we cannot access non-static variable. Okay, what do you mean by this? Let's see with the help of an example. See, we are focused about non-static variable. Okay, so this is our non-static variable int x equals to 10. Let's see over here, and we have written a note. We should create non-static variable inside class outside method. This is inside class and outside this main method. This is called a main method. We should create outside main method. So int x equals to 100. In order to access this static variable, we will have to create object. So in order to create object A1 equals to new of A. Now system.out.println will print a line in the console, that is we will give here A1.x. Okay, and run this. You will get the output 100. Okay, we are accessing the value of x, which is, this is non-static variable. This is non-static variable. Okay, now let's come back to our notes. Example 2, we have two non-static variables, int x, int y equals to 200. Okay, now a1 dot y will print a1 dot y. Okay, now let's run this particular code and see the output. So we will get 100 and 200 as the output. See in the console window, 100 and 200 we got the output. Fine, let's move on to the next topic. Every time we create object, non-static variable copy is loaded into that object. Every time we create object, non-static variable copy is loaded to that object. Okay, copy of variable in these objects are different. That is, if you change the value of variable in one object, those changes cannot be seen in another object. Let's see with the help of an example. Suppose this is non-static variable x, which is non-static variable we already discussed. We have printed the value of x. Suppose we are writing a1.x equals to 300 now. The latest value is 300. Now we are printing again a1.x. So first it will print over here as 100. Second, we have altered the value. Here it will print 300. Okay, so it is the same point. Every time we create object, non-static variable copy is loaded to that object. Every time we are creating any new object, non-static variable copy is loaded to that object. So again, if I create a2 is equals to new a, and this is how it will do as a2.x. Again, it will print what it will print, initial 100 value only. Okay, it will print 100 only. Let's see by running this particular code. So it will print 100, 300, 100. As you can see, 100, 300, and then 100. So this was the meaning of this particular line. Value dynamic create object, non-static variable copy is loaded to that object. Copy of variable in these objects are different. That is, if you change the value of variable in one object, those changes cannot be seen in another object. Okay, because we have created a2.x, it is again 100, but we have altered this value in a1.x. Okay, it is not reflected in a2, that is, it is not reflected. Okay, next, it is not mandatory to initialize non-static variable. Depending on the data type, automatically default value will get stored in it. Okay, it is not mandatory to initialize this. If you write it like this, it is not mandatory to initialize at all. So let me just delete this particular all code from here, and just we have to create an object to access non-static variable. It is mandatory, guys. So we will access non-static variable a1.x, x int x. Okay, so what will be the default value? We are going to see that over here. So run this program, running, and as you can see, the default value is 0 because integer value, it is an integer value, it will comes to 0. It's an integer value, its default value is 0. What if we make a float, float x? Okay, what if we make a float? As you can see now, the default value is 0.0. Okay, perfect. Next, now we are going to see static variable. What are static variables in Java? Okay, let's read the definition first, and then we will understand with the help of examples. We should create static variable inside class but outside method with static keyword. Okay, to access static variable, we will use the below option: class name dot variable name directly, it is called as constraints, object address dot variable name. Wrong approach, but it will work. It is not mandatory to initialize static variable. Depending on the data type, automatically default value will get stored in it. Okay, so these are the points for static variable. Now let's create a static variable. Now how to create a static variable? Let me see. Okay, so you are writing int x equals to 100. This is non-static variable. This is called as non-static variable. This is called as non-static variable. Okay, in order to make this static, just write static keyword. Static is a keyword, guys, therefore it is in lowercase. Okay, static, right here static. This will be a static variable now. Okay, so this is the difference between static and a non-static. Now let's create main method and static. Read the first point from the notes. We should create static variable inside class but outside method with static keyword. We have used static keyword, and this is inside class. See this, inside class A. This variable is inside class A but outside the main method. This is the main method, this is outside the main method. We will create static variables here in our program. Okay, now in order to access static variable, you can access it by class name. What is my class name? A dot x. X is your integer variable, integer value. So this will print out 100. Now I will run it. Let's run it. 100. It will print 100. As you can see in the console, 100 is getting printed. Now directly also you can print it. Directly you can say x because it is static. Directly constraint, using constraint you can print directly. As you can see, 100 will get printed in the console. Now again you can create object also. You can create objects also. A1 is equals to new A. You can create object and then a1.x you can do a1.x. This will work, but it is not a good practice. See here, this will work, but it is not recommended to use this. It's not a practice. It's a static variable is always accessible with class name. Class name is a dot the variable you want to access, that is static variable x. So syntax is class name dot variable name. Okay, class name dot variable name. So these were the examples we have covered so far. Okay, let's initialize. Let's see what happens if you don't initialize static variables. Here we have not initialized it, and let's see what it will print out. Okay, it is not mandatory to initialize static variable. It will print 0 because the data type of the x is integer, so it will print a 0. It's by default 0. If you write your float or let's say double, these are the data types which I will teach you in upcoming videos. Okay, upcoming session. So now double x, it will print 0.0. Let's say 0.0. Okay, let's move on to the next concept. Types of variables in Java. Let's study the types of variables in Java. So the first type is local variable. What is it? Local variable. Local variable should be created inside methods. We should use local variable within the created method only. Without initializing. If you are using local variable, then you will get an error. Okay, read these points carefully and let's see by using examples. Okay, now let me delete this particular whole thing, and now we will focus on static methods. What is this? Local variable. So local variable in Java we are going to see. So see, local variables are created here. This is the main method. This is called a main method. Okay, starting of and closing bracket. This is main method. Let's say I declared here int a is equals to 10. I have declared here. I can print it over here only. System.out.println is it will print your output. So I can directly print a. I will run this and you can see 10 is getting printed. Okay, this is local variable inside a method. Okay, so first example we took, as you can see, output is 10. second example, let's create it. Let me create one more method. Let me create public void test. This is another method. In this another method, I am going to access x. Okay, sorry, a. Is it accessible, guys? It is not accessible. A cannot be resolved to a variable because this is a local variable. Local. Inside this method only. Inside this particular method only. And this is another method, public void test. This is another method. You cannot access a outside the method. This is another method, right? This is outside the method. You cannot access a over here. So this was a first example. Error it will show. Okay, let's see example number 3. In this example, what we have done here is let's see. Here we are creating example int x equals to 100. Okay, here we are printing x. Now public void test. This, in order to call, you will have to write in the main method. We have to create an object a1 is equals to new a. Like this you will create, and then you can access this non-static member using a1.test. Okay, and it will print out 100. Here, as you can see, x is 100, so we have to use x over here only. It will print 100, and we are calling it from main method. So this is the program. Okay, it will print out 100. So this was the program. Now example number 4. See, we have created a test method. We have local variable created. We can use it over here, but if you write it over here x, it will throw an error. Like if I system.out.println x, this I will write it here, it will throw an error. X cannot be resolved to a variable. It is an error. Okay. Next example, let's see. Local variable should be initialized. Okay, we cannot, without initializing, if you are using local variable, then you will get an error. So initialization is mandatory. Let me delete it from here, and this is the test method, and initialization is mandatory, as you can see. If you are writing directly in text, then local variable may not have been initialized. You can't print x over here. You have to initialize it. Okay, you have to initialize it to get printed over here. So this was local variable. This was all about local variable. Now let's move on further. Let's further discuss static variable. This variable has global access. Static variable has global access. Okay. Now let's see. Public class A, static index equal to 10. Okay. Static one minute string images a.x a1. Okay. Let's see. Let's delete this all. Let's freshly create a main method. Control spacebar and main method. We will directly write this main method. Okay. Now we are going to add a public void test method. Okay. Now we are going to create a static method, static variable, static int x equals to, let's say, 800. This is static. Okay, it has global access. Okay, you can print it in main method also. Let me show you this. System.out.println a.x. Here also you can do it. Here also a.x will work perfectly fine. Now this will print out 800. This will not print 800 yet. We will have to create an object in order to access, or use static keyword over here, static void. So as out you will do without this, you can directly call test method, class name dot test. Okay, and you can run this. You will get 800 two times. 800 first from the main method, and second from this static method, second method, static void test. From this you are getting the 800 second time. Okay, so this was the example. Because static, it is, see, the variable is declared as static. It has global access in this class. In this program, it is, in this whole program, it is having a global access, which you can use it anywhere in this program. Now let's move further. Non-static variable, instance variable, or reference variable can hold either object's address or null value. Okay, reference variable, what is that? Reference variable, let me delete this. Let's delete this also. What is the reference variable? A1 is equals to null. This is a reference. It can be a null, or it can hold object's address. Okay, object's address, how it will hold? A2 is equals to new A, that is class name. Okay, either this can hold, it is what it is called, reference variable. It can hold either null value, or it can hold object's address. This is object's address. Two values it can hold, either null or object's address. That's it. So as you can see, let me print it. Let me print out A1 and let me print out A2. Let's run this. See, the value is getting printed and object's address is getting printed in second. Okay, I can give A1 is equals to new, duplicate local variable A1. Okay, this is fine. Next, data type of reference variable is class name. This is a reference variable. The data type of reference variable is, this is reference, right? A1. So data type of reference variable. Data type of reference variable is a class name. This is a class name A, right? So it is data type of reference variable is data type of reference variable is class name. Okay. Next, in the A1 is created inside main method, and it is a local variable. See, A1 is created inside main method, it is local variable. If we are using it here, then it is correct. we are using it outside method a1, it will give an error. Okay, next, a1 is not initialized, a1, then we are going printing a1, it will throw an error. If you do not initialize static reference variable, then default value null. Static reference variable, if you are using static a1, the default value of a1 will be, so let me write the default value of a1. This also I am commenting out. See, default value will be null. Default value, if you are not initialized it to null, the default value is by default null for static a1. Okay. Next example, public class A, static a1. Public static void string ARS, system.out.println a1. Okay. a1 is equals to new a dot test, a1 dot test. So we have created a test method, and in that static a1 is there. So a1 will get printed out. What is the value of a1? It will be null. The output will be null. So next is memory management in Java. So we have two types of memory in Java. That is, first is stack memory, second is heap memory. So stack memory is last in first out. Last in first out. Heap memory is objects are created inside heap memory. In heap memory, objects are created. What is garbage collector? Manages memory to avoid overflow of memory. Garbage collector manages memory to avoid overflow of memory by constantly removing object that is not in use from heap memory. Okay. In heap memory, objects are created. The objects which are not in use are eligible for garbage collection. Garbage collector will collect that garbage from the heap memory. Okay. The objects which are not in use, garbage collector will collect it. Okay. That was all about heap and stack memory. Now let's talk about methods in Java. Okay. With void keyword, a void method cannot return any value. Okay. Let me just show you over here. Okay. See, you are writing here, right? Public void test. This is a method, public void test. Put a double brackets, open curly braces. Okay. This whole is called as a method, public void test. Okay. Void cannot return any value. A void method cannot return any value. Okay. Now example 2, as you can see. This was a void method. It cannot return any value. If you write here return 100, it will throw an error. See, the error is void methods I am reading it. Void methods cannot return a value. Okay. Void method cannot return a value. Okay. So in order, if you want to return 100, you will have to change from void return type to int return type. Okay, let's create a main method. In order to create an object is created inside main method. A1 is equals to new a. Now see, we will call this test method a1.test. Now a1.test, we will have to take it in a int variable. Int, let's say number is equals to a1.test. Semicolon is required to complete the statement. And now we will write system.out.println number. So it will print out 100. This program will print 100. As you can see in the console, 100 is getting printed out. Okay. Now next is string. We can have a string also. If you write public string test, okay, as you can say return, you can say return anything. You can write return Karthik. From here you can say this line will go here. You will have to write string name equals to a1.test, and here you can write name in line number 7. Now this will print out your name because it is given return. Karthik will get printed in console. Correct? Now let's see further. Return keyword versus return value. Okay, we have already discussed it. See here, return a method has to be void. Return keyword, a method has to be void. It is optional. We don't use return as many a times. We don't use it many a times. It is optional. It will return control to method calling statement. Okay, if you write it, it is still okay. If you don't write it, it is still okay. Not an issue. So see here, public class A, public static environment string args c1 is equal to new c. We have created a test method. Okay, we are printing 100 and then return. It's a void method. Okay, so you can write return over here. Now it's a void method. You will have to create an object. You will have to create an object first. So c1 is equal to new c. Object created. Now c1.test. This will test. And this will output will be 100. Let me show you. Let's delete it and rewrite it again. Okay. See, public void, let's say display. This is public void display. This out is hello world. Okay, and here you can write return. Here you can write return. Inside main method we will create an object a1 is equals to new a. Okay, now a1 dot test a1 dot display, we will call this. Okay, this is a method. It will return the control to the method calling statement. Now run this, it will print hello. Hello world. Okay, it has printed hello world. If you write code after return keyword, then then code will 100% not run. This error is called as unreachable code error. See, if you write something code after a return statement, and if you try to print some value, it will show unreachable code error. See, it is showing unreachable code. Okay. Now let's talk about return value. We have talked about this. The method has to not the void method. Means the method return type will be according to the data type. It is mandatory to use return value statement inside not a void method. It will return control and value to the method calling statement. We have discussed this particular thing. Okay. I will again write it once again for you. See, suppose this is not void. The method is in display. So I will just remove. Let me return 100. Okay. If you write anything out after return, it will give a code unreachable error. Okay. Now this is fine. Now this will print hello world, and it will give a return. So a1.display we'll have to store it in index. Then system.out.println will write x. Let's see what it is getting printed out. First hello world, then 100 it will print out. Okay, this was it. Now next, method arguments. Let's talk about method arguments. Using method arguments, we supply values to the method when we are calling. Method argument is a local variable. Argument inside method values that you supply to the method should match. Arguments inside the method's values that you supply to the method should match. Okay. So argument inside method. So let me delete all this and write the code again for you. Okay. Main method completed. Then second method will write public void display method. Let's talk about the display method. Okay. Here we have to pass some arguments. Index. Suppose we are passing index. This is called as method argument. This is a method, right? Inside bracket, whatever you are giving, it will be called as method argument. Okay. Now let me write over here x. Let's print x. Okay, it's a local variable right now, x. Now let's call the display method. In order to do so, we'll use object a1 is equals to new a, and then a1 dot display, and here you have to pass the method arguments. You have given x, you will have to pass some value. I am passing 10. Okay, a1 dot display I am passing 10. Now see, when you run this, it will print 10. And you can see 10 is getting printed in the console. This was the example. Example number 2. Okay, suppose there are two arguments. Suppose here there are int x comma string y. I will have to print out this also. Here give y, and here you will have to change it a1 dot display string. You will have to give value, let's say 100, and here string is there, So you will write any name over here. Okay, and then it will this line is giving, this line is invoking this particular display method. In display method we have two arguments, one is int x, second one is string y. So we are passing two arguments over here in display. See, a1 dot display 100 will go to x, and this string y Karthik will go to string y. Okay, and we are printing it over here, x and y, we are printing it. So let's run this and see, 100 and Karthik are getting printed. So any kind of value to it. When method argument is an object, then you can supply any kind of value to it. See, now method argument is an object. Let's see. Public void test. Here we are giving object x. Here we will print hello plus x. Okay, object x. We will have to create an object. So a1 equals new a. Created the object. Now write it over here, a1 dot x. c1 dot test a something, a1 dot test object name is, you can give anything, character I am giving, suppose a small character, it will print hello a. Okay, let's try this. See, hello it will print, and a is hello a, it will print hello a. Okay, now suppose if you are giving string, double quotes, my name you will give, and now you can run it. Hello Karthik. Okay, it will run it. Now next thing, next example, if you have series of values. Okay, so here we are having series of values, like see here, public void test, we have created a method test, in that we are using int dot x, means here it's a local variable. Okay, in dot x it will take multiple values, so how many value, any number of value you can pass it over here. Okay, by this calling test method, a1 dot test, and you can pass any number of values. But in order to access these elements, you will have to access it like this. Okay, x of 0, index 0, x of index 1, x of index 2, x of index 3, x of index 4. Now it will be 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, because you have passed it like this. Next, see, if you are having parameters like string y and int dot x, then also you can print it. Okay, output will be 1 2 3 4 5 and mic. Now let's study about static methods. What about static methods? I will show static methods to you. or do you have to practice this also? Let's see if you want to practice this also. Let me just write it here, public void test. Let's see this example. Int dot x. Now here you will print out as y as so x of 0. Okay, and in the main method you are calling this using, this is non-static method. So a class name variable name a1 equals to new class name, that is a. Now a1 dot test method, and inside that you can pass some values like 1, 2, 23, 24, 45. Okay, these are the values. Now I am just printing a x of 0. Okay, I am just printing x of 0, that is 1. I will print 1 over here. See, this one will get printed. If you want 2, index 2, so this is index 0, this is index 1, this will be index 2, 24 will get printed. Okay, 24 will get printed in the console. See, next we are writing static methods. We have talked about non-static methods a lot in this previous example, in all this example. Now we will see what is static methods. See, static methods are nothing but it is very easy. We will write here public static, we will write here public static void display, we will say public static void display. Okay, here we will write hello Java. Okay, now this is a static method. You don't have to create an object for it. Object creation was like this, a1 is equals to new a, whatever your class name, this is like object creation, but we don't need it. We can directly access this display method using class name static method. I will say static method. That's why we will write class name dot variable, class name dot display. You can say method display, directly you can run it. It will show hello Java. We have given hello Java in system.out of the display method. Okay, now let's go to our notes. Let's see the example 2. You can also give return type of int. Okay, if you don't have this void display, you will have it integer display. Here I will say, let me delete this line. Here I will say return 100. Okay, now a1.display, when it will get called, we have to give it in, we will have to store it in a variable. So index equal to a.display, and then we will have to print out x. Okay, but this example, it is very easy. See, first we have written public static int display. Int, here return type is integer, so we have to return integer value, return 100. For example, we are returning 100. And then a1, we are taking a1.display and storing it into a variable x. Okay, and then we will print out x. Now it will print out what it will print. 100 it will print. Okay, 100 is printed. Like there's two parameters we are taking. Okay, like if we are taking two parameters, let's say here I am printing int x comma y. Int x, int y. Okay, in display method I will have to give display 100 comma 200. And let's say return a plus b. We are adding that whatever the display, it should give us 300 now. Okay, now there is exception in thread a dot display return a plus b. I have given it wrong. Okay, variable is x plus y, return x plus y, comma Java lang error. Okay, unresolved complication problem. A cannot be resolved by a variable. Okay, we got it. We got where it was a problem. Now we have fixed and we got the result as 300. If you write here return 100, what it will give us when we are calling this method a.display 100 to 100, it will return 100. It will print an x and it will take you to x. It will be 100. But we are returning something a plus b, like x plus y or x multiplied by y. So 200 into 100, it will give you 20,000. Okay, so this was all for static methods. Now let's talk about data types in Java. Okay, so data types in Java. What are data types in Java? First is byte. It is of 1 byte. Default value is 0. Next is short, 2 bytes. The default value is 0 over here. Okay. The third is long, 4 bytes. The default value here is 0. Then comes int here, and the value is 4 bytes and the default value is 0. Fourth one is long. It is 8 bytes memory size. It is having 8 bytes of memory. Default value is 0. Floating value. If you want to store any floating value, you can have float has memory 4 bytes. Default value is 0.0. Double has 8 bytes. The default value is 0.0. Boolean has true or false. By default, the value is false. Character has 2 bytes. Default value is a blank space. Okay. String is a class. Not applicable. Dynamic. Default is null. So here as you can see, there are, what is the range of byte? -128 to 127. Okay. This is the range of byte. Short range is -32,768 to 32,767. Like this, all the memory size are given over here. Okay, so let's see this. So you understood about methods, you understood many things in this lecture. Now we are talking about data types. So let's start with byte. Byte b is equals to 100 is equals to 10. 100 also it is possible. Okay. Byte. Short. Something 32,000, right? Byte short. Maximum value int x equals to 8,000. Let's see, 80,000. Okay. Then we have what you have, float. Integer after integer long is there. Long y is equals to 9. Okay. Then comes the floating point number. Float f is equals to 20.99. f. You have to terminate with f. If you don't terminate with it, it will give an error. So in floating point you have to terminate it with f. Now let's see double. Double will store double d is equals to 998.998. Okay, double value. And this all we can print it in our system.out.println b. B, then s, then you have x, y, your float f, and then you have double d. Okay, now we can run this and see all values are getting printed. Okay, so I hope this part is clear. Now one more type was introduced in Java version 10, that was var type. It was introduced in Java version 10. It gives dynamic data type concept. Depending on the value stored inside variable, data type is allocated to it internally. As you can see this example, public class say var x1 equals to 100, var x2. It will automatically put this in floating point. It will automatically float it in byte short int. Okay, it will be a string. You can pass string, you can pass false, you can pass objects at new a, you can pass character. Okay, var type can be used in local variable. It cannot be static, non-static variable. It cannot be method argument. It cannot be return value. Okay, this will all throw some errors. Now constructors in Java will take it in the next class. Okay, if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button and do subscribe to my channel for more such amazing contents like this.